now that that's settled, I have one more errand for you to run. Would you grab the Stoll brothers and order them to meet me up deck after dinner? Hefty lads, red hair. You couldn't mistake them for another. An urgent matter. The Stoll brothers, who are they? Sure, let's ask that. You haven't met all the crew yet. The Stolks have been serving me for years. They'll be down on the middle deck. In the meantime, you should grab a copy of the crew manifest and get acquainted with more of the crew. Okay, so let's do that. Go outside again. We appear to have one option over here. Let's do that. Upon closer inspection, you make out the ship's photographer, Kasha Belfort, balanced on the ship's mast with her camera, lining up a photo. Get down immediately, you'll kill yourself. How's the view up there? Wait for her to finish. Let's ask her about the view. How's the view up there? Oh. You startled the woman, causing her to fall and nearly drop her camera. Let's help her down. You help her retrieve the device and untangle herself from the rigging. That was a close shave, Officer Shaw. It's about time I met the first officer of the ship. Kasha Belfort. Yes, I've heard of you already. Nice to meet you, Kasha. You seem to already know my name. How so? Nice to meet you. I suppose there was some sort of rule against what I was doing up there. Deepest apologies, but sometimes there's a shot you just cannot pass up. An accomplished photographer, Kasha Belfort won the first Pentler Prize, the highest honor in journalism, for her work covering plague outbreaks and riots in the capital. It came as a surprise to many that such a reputable journalist would take such an interest in this expedition. There was scarcely any chance of Hunt or the benefactor turning her away. You expected someone of her accolades to be older, more experienced. This is likely her first time on the sea like this. She's not prepared for this, her proof is all we have. Her accomplishment surely outweigh her youth. Yeah, I mean, inexperience is a matter of interest, but her accolades speak for themselves. The cold game. Picture that as a header. What? Sounds fine to me, I like it. Let her continue. For the piece on this voyage, I'm trying to come up with a snappy name. Nobody will read it if the title sounds like a work of an amateur. This isn't a game, Kasha. Sounds fine to me, I like it. This isn't a game. Let's be a bit more serious because we are going into the Arctic after all. An expedition like this isn't light business. Kasha nods eagerly, but you can tell she's not really listening. Oh right, of course. It's thrilling though, isn't it? Oh, merchant. I suppose in your experience, the open ocean is the home of the mundane. Though I suppose you never traveled this far south on the merchant lines. You have that right. I'm not adverse to thrills. Well, I hope we have some coming this way. I'm hoping to capture something right out of poor darling Salt escapades. That reminds me, you'll be joining us at Export. I should get his picture at some point. Kasha holds up her camera with a sense of pride before holding it up to your face. Stand still, Shaw. Please warn me before doing that. The captain sent me to grab a copy of the manifest. Alright, that's our quest. How long do these take? How long do they take to develop? So the pictures. Only a day or two. They've made a makeshift dark room in the hold. Speaking of photographs, she hands you an annotated document. Here it is, the crew manifest. This is all our sailors. It's a work in progress. The scout team are to join us at the next port, and the captain's forbidden me from the boiler room. If you could ask the others to get their portraits taken, I'd be very grateful. Don't want to leave anyone out. Thank you, Kasha. I'll see what I can do. Yeah, that's just mean, so I'll see what I can do. I'll not disturb you of your work any further, officer. I have a few more shots I want to get before the sun lowers anyhow. Safe shots, officer, don't worry. You leave her to her work. Okay, so looks like we have two Johns over here. You spot a large man with a youthful gait carrying a heavy crate over his shoulder with relative ease. Oh, you're Officer Shaw. Gives you a bright, warming smile. Two Johns. That's what they call me. I'm sure you'll get your nickname later. Two Johns attempt to offer a handshake, but loses control of the crate. He struggles before firmly holding it in place with both hands. Ah, maybe later. Work awaits. There we go. You can see now he has been added to the available crew. Let's go to the forecastle first. Oh, it appears to be locked. Okay. So I guess let's go down. This is the middle part of our ship. Let's continue to the mid deck. We have the cook over here, and we have the accordionist. Yeah, sure. Let's go talk to this guy. One of the crew, a red-headed man. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. With a thick beard, sits proudly, playing on an ivory accordion. He spots you and ceases his playing. Need something? Who are you? Nice accordion. Do you mind if I see? I was just looking for the Stoke brothers. Emergency? Could be, not sure. Just a meeting with Hunt. As long as they aren't laughing around like you, it will be fine. Just a meeting with Hunt. You're speaking to one of them. Okay, so I was right. Grimly Stoke. We'll head up after dinner. You can go now. The man gestures to the cook across the room before resuming his playing. Oh, so I guess maybe he's the other one. Let's call the crew for dinner. The crew have had their meal. It passes in relative silence. The crew return to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled in preparation for the evening. Twilight falls. So let's check out these guys. Oh, it's the father and son. Over dinner, you overhear the newly picked up stowaway speaking with a one-armed man. But there, you're lucky Hunt didn't throw you overboard. Half a mind to do that myself. Come on, Dad. I'm here to help. Better know that involves work. Don't expect special treatment. I won't. You're an impossible child, Billy. Dugward has been added to the manifest. So we have one more available person. So let's go up. And we have Mr. Gloss over here. You spot one of Templeton's science team pacing around the mid-deck, searching through some luggage that has been pulled from a cabin. Let me look in the light. Where was it now? He notices you. Ah, Officer Shaw, correct? Dwight Glossley. Apologies, I seem to have misplaced something while sitting in the cabin. A bottle of wine, actually. Can't be that hard to miss. It will turn up eventually. Best not be drinking on the job. Perhaps one of the sailors took it. Can't be that hard to miss. It will turn up eventually. I would hope so. My wife and I brought a bottle to celebrate with. To be saved for the journey back, of course. Well, if you find it, please let me know. So we have one of our scientists over here. And, looks like we are at the dusk at the moment. So we can talk to Templeton to proceed the time, or I can go over here and look at the ocean, I guess. As you look over the railing out to the ocean, a wisp of smoke flies past your face. You turn to examine and spot a sailor with a pipe in his mouth and a sheet of paper in his hand, overlooking the stirring waters. Looking at something? Who are you? Not many sailors can read or write. What's the letter? Whisper to Baku. Let's investigate about that. A letter. All you need to know. Okay, so I guess it's something private. Tashi. After introducing himself, Tashi falls silent and begins to read the letter. Trying to draw conversation from him may be similar to extracting teeth. Well, at least he's added to the manifest now. So I guess let's check upon Templeton. You spot Templeton looking out into the sunset. As you approach, he turns to you and nods. Ah, Officer Shaw. It will be some time before we see a sunset such as this again. The light distribution towards the southern pole is quite the change. Sentimental? I notice you were on a dinner with the others. It will be quite some time before we return. Let's ask him about that. I prefer to eat in solitude. I have my own cabin and I make use of it. Templeton keeps his focus on the reflections of the setting sun over the stirring waters of the ocean. There is great expectations upon us, officer. From who? Who is this benefactor of ours? Are you feeling the pressure, Mr. Templeton? I think Captain Hunt's up to the task. Let's ask him about who we're working for. That is not for you to know. Not yet. Templeton looks down, catching his reflection in the ocean's surface. He looks back up at the sunset. Quite the sight, but I wouldn't linger upon it too long. We would retire for the evening. It's important the first officer be well rested. And we can use Z to advance to the next week. That's our first week complete. Went quite well. Here we get to choose how much food rations we want to spend, as you can see. So if we do half food, we spend less food, but we also lose some morale. Currently, we have no reason to be conserving food lore-wise, so I will give them normal rations and we'll spend a normal amount of fuel. So yeah, I won't be messing with that at all. Next week, the way this mechanic works will be explained a bit more, but for now, the ship makes its last port at Orca Island. Cordel's sledding dogs are picked up. The scouting crew and Kurt Darling are picked up. The days are getting brighter as we move further south. So this is our cabin. There's a rap on your cabin door. Come in. The door swings open to reveal Kurt Darling, all but filling its frame, grinning ear to ear. There you are, Officer Shaw. The ship's navigator is a difficult man to miss. Stature and reputation precedes him. Adorned with the slew of apparatus, this seemingly one-man expedition would be known to anyone following the heyday of exploration and the merchandising that followed. It's no time for celebrities. I have no time for celebrities, it's an honor. I know little of the man. Let's go with it's an honor. It's an honor, really. A wealth of invaluable experience in such hostile environments. I wonder he's not been swept up to some other post. Hiding away from the rest of us, are you? Are you always this early to rise? Do you need something of me, Kurt? No, I'm simply busy. Are you always this early to rise? These days, I tend to enjoy a good lion, but not during an expedition. You know what they say, overly birds and worms. Apologies for not stopping by sooner, Shaw. It took a while to set up my team, and a great deal of the crew were quite eager to meet me. It's not often they work with a film star, is it? That's right, you're something of a celebrity. Is that a brag? Let's go with the friendly option. I see no reason to be hostile. It's not often they work with a film star, is it? Certainly. It's completely understandable on their part. There aren't many who haven't seen my films, particularly in this line of work. More than one fellow on this crew said my work inspired them to explore the world. Quite the honor, is it not? Yeah, I guess this guy is gonna be good for our morale then. I'm certain you received that praise of 10. Or often. Oh, there was a space there. Okay. The crew don't seem to be the film-going type. Is there a point to any of this grandstanding? I'm certain you received that praise often. Not as often as you would think. I suppose I did get distracted, didn't I? Anyway, I was hoping you'd join me up deck. Of course, but why? But let's go. We finally entered the pack. I thought you'd want to see it for yourself. I'll be right behind you, Kurt. It can wait, I have work to do. I wasn't really doing much, was I? We'll be moving through the ice for a while. I'm not interested. Let's go with him. Kurt turns to walk away before turning back. Oh, and enjoy the morning. It's a good day, Shaw. Hard. There we go. He's been added to the manifest. He leaves. Let's open our journal. Nothing to write. So let's just follow Kurt. Anything else happening here? Doesn't seem like it. Let me check out below deck. What is this? Hammocks. Many of the crew are still fast asleep playing in hammocks. Best not disturb them, Shaw. Don't want to find yourself dealing with an abruptly woken sailor. Let us head up deck. The sounds of snoring are rather obnoxious. Alright, so no reason to disturb them. What's this? Mrs. Gloss. You note one of the science team returning to their room. Ah, Miss Gloss. Did you have a good rest? She nods to you. Ah, hello. I did not expect many to be up this early. Harriet Glossley. I believe I met your husband. What has you up so early? Were you just above deck? Well, I wasn't there, so... I believe I met your husband. Ah, yes. Dwight made mention of your encounter. He's still fast asleep. He's adjusted to the ship well. I believed a walk around the ship would help acclimate, I guess, myself to the waves. Perhaps it will take some time, it will take some more time. With that, Miss Gloss makes her way back to her cabin. The science team aren't used to the sea, or the sailor folk. Quite the culture clash, isn't it? Well, I'm sure they'll get used to them over time. Now we have one more available crew. This is the doctor's office. It's locked. Seems the doctor isn't in. Or perhaps enjoying his sleep. You are yet to come across the ship's doctor even after all this time. Right, guess my only option is to get up. So now we have finally reached the ice, by the looks of it. So let's go to the helm. At the stern, you notice another sailor at the helm. The old man takes in a deep breath in the cold air before letting out a satisfied exhale. Morning. And a good morning to you. He eyes you up. Officer Shaw, right? Lefty. Call me that on account of, well, should be obvious. He chuckles. Don't worry about the bad side. This is all Phil. Just keeping her steady. So I guess this is the helmsman. He examines you. Surprised Hunt picked from outside for his first mate. I'm surprised as well. He seems the insular type. I assure you, I'm more than qualified for the role. Would you prefer the role? You seem to have the experience. Let's go with this one. He is. It must be something special for her to look outside the ranks. Merchant. You've got experience at least. Merchant Navy is quieter though. Mornings like these are about the only peace I get from the younger lot. You should take these moments when you can. Lefty returns to his attention to the helm. As you get older, I suppose you learn to value the quiet moments, eh? Let us hope we're just as diligent when we're old and grey. Myself before you, of course. There we go, he's now added to the manifest. Let's continue the story. You join Kurt at the bow of the ship. You both feel the temperance break in the floes below you. Gripping the railing, he draws an enormous breath. The footing beneath rises as the ship mounts an impending ice floe. There is a moment's hesitation before a profound crack relieves the ship, cascading across the ice. He exhales. See? Nothing else like it. You weren't wrong. I assumed you'd seen everything. It's just ice, Kurt. Don't get too excited. Let's go with... Yeah, you weren't wrong. It's something alright. Look at the ice. No two cracks are the same. All caused by us. Yeah, sure. By the laws of nature, this place wants us dead. And yet, here we are, traversing in harmony. How fantastic is that? How far are we from land? I assume you'd seen everything. Let's go with this one now. A younger me would have agreed with you. It's an interesting mix, nostalgia and the never-ending new. Indeed. Let's see. How far are we from land? We're about a week's sail from the last known location of the old Viscount. We should be done pretty quickly then. Assuming she isn't exactly where they left her, we can take smooth sailing for granted. Same goes for this daylight. It won't remain this bright for so long once winter encroaches. Beautiful as the ice is, on this course it's going to get thicker. He looks out across the white. We won't be so confident when the lands dry up, when the leads dry up, and we're stuck here till the next cycle. We need to change course. Avoid the pack. Okay, so he's saying that we should go around the pack, I guess. So, have enough supplies if it comes to that. Even for Captain Hunt. He won't listen to me, since I've been built by my retirement. I've probably seen more ice than he has whiskey. Not my decision. We have enough supplies if it comes to that. Yeah, let's reassure him. It's not the supplies. I'd be worried. It's not the supplies I'd be worried about in this situation. People will turn on each other before they let themselves starve. Some foreshadowing there. Have you ever experienced the long night winter? It's not pleasant, to say the least. If it comes to that, we will adapt. There is a chain of command. This isn't one of your adventure serials, but can't say that I have. If it comes to that, we will adapt. I can see why he hired you. You should understand, Robin. You're only as good as the unhappiest man. Cheer up then. That's first mate show. No, I'm not gonna pour rank on him, that's kinda silly. I'll do what I can. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Yeah, that seems reasonable. I guess we can try and talk to the captain if we get that option. Kurt nods and turns back to look across the ice. Okay. I guess I can go to the captain's cabin. Anything else happening below board? I think so. Yeah, so let's just go to the captain's cabin. Check out what is happening. Take some requests. Sure. Ready for another day of work? Oh, there we go. Did you hear Kurt's advice? He wants us to switch course. Yeah, let's bring this up. He had a few words to share. He may have been an expert in his time, but these days, Kurt is one with more money than sense. Anyway, back to work. Okay, so I guess he's really not open to that idea. I was hoping you'd help me work through a few more requests from the crew. You may have noticed the line pulling up outside. Everyone wants something, it seems. Call them in as you please. So this time we have 3 people. Yes, let's start with Hammond, which we haven't met yet. A short, sour-faced man in engineer's clothing approaches. Are you acting daft, Hunt? Not with intention. Not bloody surprised you didn't notice. Sure, this is our chief engineer, Clive Hammond. An opinionist one. What is it, Hammond? We've hit the ice, and you haven't assigned any extra men down on the boiler. You have your engineering team, and we've only got 6 hours between us. We need more manpower maintaining this. Sailors. Many of the crew have their own tasks they're busy with. I know I've already assigned Murph, I guess, on the matter. The captain turns to you. How many do you think is fair? 1? 3? More. Open the crew manifest to choose how many sailors you wish to assign. So this is one of the other mechanics. Basically assigning people to deal with certain events. And I guess who do you want to assign to help the engineers You know what? Let's assign the father and his son, huh? How about that? Should be a good training for him, I guess. You can take Rund and Rund's there. You're giving me Ward. Ward with one bloody arm. Young Rund could use someone to teach him on the job. Who better than his father? Exactly. Don't get me started on handing over the bloody stowaway. Would you rather none? The engineer holds his tongue. Fine. But you can tell me how right I was when we were buried under the ice. He leaves. A good spirit, that one. Beneath the oil and the temper. You won't be seeing much of him though. Prefers to burrow himself in the boiler room. Let's talk to the photographer. Captain, sure. A thought occurred to me the other day while looking through the crew manifest, and well, it might be too late for this now. We've already entered the ice. Out with it. I thought it would be good to have individual photos of the full crew. For your report. Not only my report, it will be good reference for the manifest. Put faces on the names. Much of this crew have served me for years, some decades. I have little problem putting faces to the names. Your thoughts, Sean? So, it seems a good idea. If nothing else, it would make for a good souvenir. A waste of time. We should be bracing ourselves for the ice. And it's a bit late, but it's now or never. May as well get it over with. I mean, it's not like we're dealing with much at the moment, so sure, why not? Aye, a good point. But maybe you could sound a little more enthused. Well, Belfort, I see no problem there. I'll arrange for the pictures to be taken before the crew have their dinner. Thank you, Captain. Sure. In the meantime, I'll attempt to get as many individual crew photos as I can. You're still welcome to help on that matter, Officer Shaw. She departs satisfied. Corvette. Hunt. You asked for a report on how the stowaway was doing? Aye, I wanted to see if the young boy has been settling in well. He has indeed. It means another mouth to feed, but the boy works hard. Doesn't ask much. He has his dad to guide him as well. I'm sure the boy's father is ecstatic. Worried sick, but happy, aye. Well, what do you know, Shaw? Perhaps you were right to keep the boy aboard. Of course I was. Let's finish our requests. Good to have all that settled then. Perhaps we shouldn't throw out old Kurt so easily. Okay, so maybe he's thinking about changing course. If the man thinks there could be an alternate path through the ice, he's free to search for it. Sure, meet with him when you have time. Changing course or not, we want one of his scouts set up at the crow's nest. Take care of that, then you'll be done for the day. Okay. Looks like we have plenty of events to take care of. Approach the sick young man. He's seasick. You spot a youthful looking man leaning over the side of the ship, his head slumped as he looks into the icy pool below. It appears he's been visited by a spot of seasickness. Pat him on the back. Are you okay? Yeah, let's ask him if he's okay. You speak out and the sickly man doesn't answer. He raises his head and turns to spot you, his eyes widening in shock as he does. A bespectacled young man, shaking with the knees. He stares at your face a brief moment, a look of shame plastered upon his face. Sorry, are you alright? Haven't seen you around, who are you? Compose yourself, man, you should be able to handle the waves. Let's ask him who he is. Ah, I'm very sorry. Arthur turns around, okay, so I guess he's called Arthur, and hurriedly runs in the opposite direction, avoiding your gaze. Okay, so I guess he's afraid of me for some reason. Arthur Neto has been added to the manifest.